Today's emotionally uplifting episode is the works burger of Australian societal box ticking. This one has the lot. It contains a hero, a hurricane, a Harley, and a seemingly heavily enhanced hairdresser hottie. Plus a wall of Nike kicks you can see from space, a gangland-style execution, arson, and a couple of Liberace's Rolexes. Beyond everything else, this proves to me that Australia still is the lucky country. A place where anyone really can have it all, even if you've been on unemployment benefits for the past 5 years, allegedly. If Tourism Australia does not use this in future marketing campaigns, I'm going to be very disappointed indeed. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au. New cars cheap, but Australia only. Website. Code. This swarthy gentleman you can see just over there is Mahmoud Bashun, 39 years of age. But I prefer to use his rap name, which I just made up, Embargo. Now, Embargo has been on the dole, which would be unemployment benefits if you are from America or some such, allegedly since about 2019. And he's seen just here apparently dressing up for prison already in front of a most tasteful King of Hearts motif in the lounge room of his upscale Parramatta apartment. Para, such a diverse, exciting and inclusive suburb in Sydney. I used to live there eons ago. Para, I would argue, is to Sydney as Compton or Watts is to LA. We're more of a stabbing society, obviously. Just to avoid disappointment should you visit, like, don't get your hopes up. Or do, like, I don't care. And here is Embargo once again. This time sandwiched betwixt King of Hearts on the lounge room wall and his equally tasteful shrine to Nike, whilst being arrested just the other day with all due dignity and respect in his jocks by some marshmallows in blue in their 48-inch waisted 5'11 tactical Nomex trousers. A couple of cream buns, doubtless holstered in their thigh rigs, just in case anyone goes hypo, mid-raid. Here's, essentially the same thing occurring to Embargo's gorgeous hurricane, which does seem an odd form of transportation, I must admit, for someone on unemployment benefits. A similar fate befell his matching Harley V-Rod and a couple of Rolexes. Imagine that. The blue marshmallows are quite inflexible on things of this nature, I note. It's got to be the elevated lipids. Golly gee, Jim Bob, it's almost as if Embargo has been involved in something other than just allegedly diddling Centrelink. But I'm not even sure he was actually doing that, to be honest with you. There could be a perfectly legitimate explanation for the whole thing when you think about it. Perhaps a clerical error, or, I don't know, a rich uncle. This report is sponsored by NordVPN. Get 4 extra months of Nord for free now. It's totally risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee at nordvpn.com/AEJC. Online security threats are everywhere, but obviously you don't have to be the next victim. And that's where NordVPN comes in, locking everything down efficiently in the background. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Every 2-year NordVPN plan receives a huge discount plus 4 bonus months on top for free. nordvpn.com/AEJC. I'll put a link in the description. Using NordVPN is dead easy. Just subscribe, download the app and connect. 1 click later, your IP address is shielded and your traffic is encrypted across as many as 6 of your devices. Nord is, of course, the fastest VPN on the planet, and it costs only about as much as 1 cup of coffee every month to keep your data, your identity, and your devices secure. Masking your location also means you'll be able to access streaming and other services that might be geo-blocked where you live, plus you can continue to watch your favourite content when you travel. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Boost your security, get a huge discount, and enjoy those 4 extra months completely free on every 2-year plan. It's all totally risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/AEJC. I'll put a link in the description. Dude, imagine being only 39 years of age and already having lost not 1, but 2 Lamborghinis. That might be a record, certainly for Australia. And it would be a better record to have, I'd argue, than scoring 0 points in, I don't know, marsupial breakdancing at the recent Olympics. Embargo lost his very first Lamborghini back in May 2023 at Olympic Park after a couple of vengeful chaps, most probably Centrelink enforcers, doused it with petrol to send a stern message concerning his conduct. In fairness to Embargo here, he did not actually lose that supercar. I misspoke. It was still there, just melted deep into the road. Just another one of those internal combustion cars that burn far more often than EVs. Go figure. The Blue Marshmallows are actually still searching for 2 chaps apparently in training for the Jerry Can Marathon in 2028. So if you've got intel, share it via Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000. Dude. Can't see too many dudes in Embargo's line of work, whatever that actually is, being seen in a Polestar or something. Not anytime soon. Like, real men such as Embargo here will be the last to transition to EVs, I'm fairly sure. Were they to be seen in EVs today, colleagues would doubtless start asking them, when was it that they lost their testicles, and did that hurt very much? I do find all of this just flat out hilarious and a perfect window into our society. You know, deep inside the bullshit factory in Canberra, insulated from ambient society, debate wages fiercely over the Steg calling P-Dut a racist, over his position on security checks and other micro scandals of this nature, as if this is somehow the front line in a battle for social cohesion in this nation. Meanwhile, outside the wire, as it were, this is how the ambient Australian society shit show actually rolls. You should visit this fine nation. If you're not from around here, check us out. But forget the tourist traps like Bondi Beach, the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge. Please, do yourself a favour. Visit our deeply cultural places instead, such as Para and Tempe, Shelby, Bankstown, and Rudy fucking Hill, mate. These are the places that make us authentically who we are. Just always carry an umbrella, because funnel web spiders can rain from the sky at any time without warning, and tell the kiddies not to play with the numerous snakes in the street, because on the balance of probability, everyone you see is going to be quite deadly, and they fucking hate tourists. Back when I was a real motoring journalist for like 30 years, one or another of the half-wits running media organisations with their trousers off would periodically have a thought bubble and call us all in for a meeting about how do we get more lifestyle into motoring to get chicks interested and more ad bucks, obviously. They could never get that to work. Knock me down with a feather. Best compact hatchbacks for a Dior handbag kind of thing. Nobody gave a rat's ass. Go figure. But I would argue this could work. This is made for a reboot of the epic Paul Fennick franchise, Howzos. Hurricane Howzos. Gangster Howzos. I'm not alleging any of these actual people are gangsters. That would be absurd. I'm just saying we could tweak the details somewhat and change the names and, dude, there's your show. Take Embargo's wife, the hottie hairdresser Fatima Hage, or as I prefer to think of her in our fictitious show by her made-up rap name for docudrama TV, Double H, the hottie hairdresser. I've done a lot of tyre tests in my life, and to me, Double H looks a little overinflated. And I say this with compassion and respect, constructively, like we're all walking around at 32 psi, I argue, cold inflation pressure sort of thing, and she seems to me to be at, 44,000. At times, I suspect Double H might even exist contemporaneously in two quite different but adjoining postcodes. Kind of like Schrodinger's cat, only with puppies. Outstanding. But life has not been easy for Double H either, so please be nice in the comments. She obviously needs all the support you could offer at this trying time. First, there's the thorny issue of the $12,500 two-toned, diamond-encrusted Liberace's Rolex on Double H's wrist, which Embargo's ex claims is in fact hers. It's quite the nasty business. They've been backwards and forwards over this for months, engaging in increasingly vexatious correspondence without a resolution in sight, problematically. If the media reports on this are to be believed. At first, I contacted her in the nicest way possible, because if another woman contacted me, girl to girl, to tell me the watch my boyfriend had given me was potentially stolen, then I would chuck it back in his face. That's a quote from probably the trashiest and therefore most entertaining tabloid rag in Australia, the Daily Mail, which has been following Embargo and Double H enthusiastically for quite some time now, because they are obviously of great national significance and they get the clicks. Double H has a completely different take on Rolex Gate. She is just a jealous ex who has a vendetta. Well, that seems kind of unequivocal. But she added, "My husband is a multi-millionaire. He would never steal a watch." Yes, quite. But I didn't think the doll could make you that rich. He might be quite the astute investor. Or perhaps he took a senior role at a nearby laboratory, but just forgot to tell Centrelink. Or perhaps he's a cheese in, logistics, or perhaps he's a retail genius. How would we know? I'm sure the authorities are going to sort all of this out. Personally, I hope he gets his Lambo and his V-Rod back in the shortest possible time. I would love to see him rocking the streets, living la vie d'Australia, a Lambo-shaped beacon to success for the rest of us to see. It's not as if he didn't make sacrifices, is kind of what I'm saying. He obviously put in the hard yards and wants to enjoy the rewards. If they are the same watch, and I'm not alleging they are, like how would I know? This is a testament to Embargo's commitment and character, I would argue. Imagine how many Centrelink payments he had to put aside and invest astutely to show the women in his life just how much he loved them, twice, with one watch, thus hitting two birds with the one stone. #respect. To me, if this is actually how it happened, and I'm not saying it is, it's really just like taking the old bull bar off your Nissan Patrol, then trading it in, and then fitting it to your new Patrol. Like, dude, money. It doesn't grow on trees, does it? But it seems quite likely to me, and I have some experience with ex-wives, as you know, that any new wife would be rather unhappy to wear a traded-in woman's watch. Except perhaps as some kind of sick taunt. They are kind of funny like that. And confrontingly, there's the inconvenient gangland-style execution, during which Double H literally and narrowly dodged a bullet, seemingly. Now, imagine being deep asleep, not a care in the world, 2:30 in the morning, just you and the puppies and a dude named Blackie Baccarat, whose real name was Kemmel Jr. I will call him B-Back henceforth. Spoiler alert, he's not going to be back. B-Back, it is alleged, was in some way linked to the Comancheros, that's not funny, and Hell's Angels, and was a suspect in the execution of a dude who was also, let's call it, pretty well known to the Blue Marshmallows, named Hamad Assad, or as I prefer to call him, Ham-Ass. March the 10th of 2017, masked gunmen burst into the unit and execute B-Back in a hail of bullets. Like, who could have predicted that? Is this Unit 31? They said soon afterwards. No, dude. "That's 2 doors down on the left," replied Double H in our docudrama. Gangland executioners, dude. Always so slipshod with the details. My golden rule for executions: the details really matter. I'm certainly glad that a stray round did not clip one of those valuable puppies, however. It could have ricocheted anywhere, perhaps even overseas. The Blue Marshmallows later, somewhat undiplomatically in my estimation, accused Double H of opening the door for the assassins, and according to the tabloid rag, she did admit in court that her Snapchat account contained a picture of the late Mr. Beback with the helpful caption, "dead," on it. I suppose that was in case anyone forgot that little detail later, problematically. "Oh, that's right. He won't be attending your birthday, darling. I can see here in my Snapchat that he's going to be unavailable." Presumably, this photo was recovered forensically by the Blue Marshmallow CSI types after dusting the phone with, icing sugar, most probably. Double H is, of course, according to the tabloid rag, suing the Blue Marshmallows for trauma and PTSD, which I find kind of difficult to understand, frankly. I get the PTSD and the trauma, but isn't that far more likely to be a consequence of one and one's puppies waking up unexpectedly mid-execution? Just saying. I'm no lawyer or a psychologist. Like, dude, what the fuck would I know? I'm just making shit up as I go along. I find it interesting, actually, the relationship people have with supercars in particular, especially the people who can afford them. On the one hand, you've got the Blue Marshmallows running an investigation into the allegedly unexplained wealth of individuals with alleged links to organised crime, praying to their god diabetes for sweet, sweet evidence of wrongdoing. And on the other hand, you've got this dude on the dole, allegedly, with a blue Lambo, his second one, and a matching V-Rod, same colour, married to a bullet-dodging hottie hairdresser who's locked in a bitter and quite public dispute concerning the custody of a gifted Rolex costing almost 18 fortnightly Centrelink payments after her former partner was executed. What do you suppose it was about their conduct that tipped the Blue Marshmallows off? They must be incredibly perceptive, because I'm not seeing it. How exactly did embargo blip on the blue sugar-frosted radar? Where did he slip up? Did he slip up? Because this just seems like a fairly typical suburban Australian success story to me. I wouldn't be at all surprised to learn that Embargo and Double H are the real victims here. It's just tall poppy syndrome, most likely. If you'd like to see Embargo, he's contracted for one show and one show only at the Para Local Court on Friday, October the 4th. Don't miss out. Come early. Double H might also be there, you never know. You might even get a job as an extra on the new show. Just remember your umbrella, dude, and wear a Ned Kelly t-shirt and your best thongs or Uggs so you fit right in the public gallery, mate. And on a completely unrelated note, do you know what you get when you play gangster rap backwards at half speed? Have a think about it. What do you get backwards gangster rap at half speed? Well, I'd suggest that your first Lamborghini is going to rise up like a phoenix out of the molten bitumen. Your ex is going to find her Rolex in the wash basket, and it was all just a simple mix-up. Sorry about that. They become besties, and you enjoy a three-way every second Friday evening. Your wife's ex is miraculously resurrected, and there's no hard feelings there. And the Blue Marshmallows knock on your door without kicking it in this time to return your Huracan and V-Rod fully detailed and refueled with a sincere and heartfelt public apology. Tourism Australia hands you a fat stack of advertising cash for your most excellent contribution to our culture, and Centrelink says, don't worry about it, dude. Small potatoes. And you finally land the reality TV show to which you've always been so sincerely entitled. And that's why, despite all of the recent negative publicity, this is still the best damn country named Australia on earth.